Alright, welcome back to the channel, and today is all about your questions. So you've posted so many under my recent videos that I decided to do a dedicated video for it. It means we are talking about airbox, light efficiency at night, vibrations, gear ratios and some other topics too. And all that with a few shots from my recent ride with a good friend Kuba. So, without further ado, let's start with the question from M. Leitao, who's asking, show us the new air filter box. Well, alright, so you asked to show you the new airbox. Here it is. From the outside, it doesn't look very different from what I remember from my 701. M. Leitao also wants to know if the rear rack of the 24 generation will fit. I will have to verify that. I am going to do that really soon. I need to drill the holes in the back of the plastics. Stay tuned for that. Next question comes from Michael, who wants to know if the bike is thinner, narrower, and if the new light is good enough at night. And those are great questions, so let me start with the size of the bike. So while KTM doesn't provide any precise values, the new 2026 generation was certainly designed to feel narrower and offer a better control off-road. At least that's what the KTM materials are saying. The key changes that contribute to these are, for example, the new ergonomics and bodywork. The KTM says that the fairings and the side panels have been completely redesigned, and that they took the inspiration from the lighter EXCF Enduro machines. So yeah, that feels a bit narrower, but I guess that's just how it looks. And then the modified engine and exhaust, definitely a change. Although the LC4 is still has the same displacement, it's they say at 50% is new inside. So more compact muffler is there as well. There is no cut in the muffler anymore, so it's not getting so hot. So yeah, it doesn't directly affect the overall width of the bike, but that the smaller and redesigned exhaust can subjectively reduce its perceived bulkiness. So just to sum up, I don't have like hard technical data in millimeters, but KTM design goal was to make it feel more like a pure enduro bike, and consequently a slimmer and easier to maneuver in the terrain. And when it comes to the light, let me just show you a very quick video that I recorded last night.
I think that's pretty good. This is definitely an improvement compared to the factory light of the previous generation. This is still high beam, this is low beam.
The next question is still in regards to my FE501 from a colleague called IK501. It seems like a 501 user, who is asking why not just buy a van or a car trailer and transport the bike to the riding trails? Yeah, that question really hits the nail on the head, and thank you for asking it, because it perfectly explained my motivation for making this change. So the decision to sell the FE501 for something like 690 comes down to my personal preferences and family logistics, not the bike itself. So here are the main reasons why a van or a trailer is a no-go for me. So first of all, my family logistics and the only car in the family. So we have only one family car, which is used for all of the daily duties, like taking kids to their weekend activities, like shopping and everything. So on weekends, it is a family car. So consequently, I simply cannot take it away for a full day or even a weekend just to have some fun on my motorcycle. For the second reason, the cost of time, like the hassle factor. I considered renting a van, but this brings up my main issue. It creates a massive amount of hassle for just a few hours of riding. So renting, picking it up, returning, loading the bike, unloading it, strapping it down, and so on and so on. It adds the extra 2 or 3 hours of pure logistics to every single trip. No go for me. And I wanted something that would fit in the concept of hop on and go, that has longer service intervals, so I am not constantly worrying about how many hours have passed since the last oil change, and something that allows me to ride for an hour on the road, including the highway, then reach my favorite trails, spend some time off-road, and then return home via highway without stressing the engine. So from my point of view, the FE501 is a fantastic in the dirt, but the 690 is much better and more efficient tool for blending road travel with some dual sport riding. And one more from the same category. So Jack is asking, why do you even need a second bike? Why just not ride the 890 since you own it? And that question is absolutely spot on, because for the last couple of years I've been aiming for that one perfect motorcycle that can truly do it all. I came very close to achieving that unicorn situation with my previous bike, the Husqvarna 701 Enduro, which is essentially a KTM 690 in a different color. So here's why that didn't work out for me, and why a lighter dual sport bike is ultimately necessary for me. So number one is the unicorn chase situation. I owned the 701 Enduro and loved it for dual sport riding. I also modified it to be ready for more adventure riding, and it was also good for that. The problem arose when I started needing a bike for more frequent and longer highway travel, sometimes also with a passenger. So the 701, while great, just wasn't enough for that. So the comfort on the highway was insufficient. The 701 engine, although plenty capable, was not designed for highway riding for sure. And importantly, the brakes were simply too weak for safe, fully loaded, high-speed rides. So that's why I sold the 701 and then bought the 890 Adventure R, hoping it would be the final solution. Great for the highway, also with a passenger, while still being capable enough for my dual sport trails. But then I have to admit that the hard truth hit me. The weight matters, of course. So I quickly realized that even a bike as capable as the 890 loses some of the fun factor in the dirt for me. When it weighs like 70 kilograms more than the 701 or 690. For me, off-road riding is primarily about, relaxing and spending some time in the nature. I mostly ride alone and need a tool that helps me unwind, not one that causes stress. So in the sandy and loose trails I have nearby, on a lighter bike like the 690, I can relax and simply flow through the sand. The 890 is also great, but still quite heavy. And to make matters more complex, comes stock on the 60/40 tires. These are the OEM Mitas, which are a compromise. So pretty good on road, same on the gravel roads. But in the sand it's a bit more complicated. So that weight combined with those tires and the sand requires much more focus from me, and also some physical battle, and that for me stops being fun or relaxing. So I am also aware of my personal limits. Like ultimately it comes down to my skill level and, let's be honest, also physical condition. I can ride the 890 off-road, and I know it's plenty capable, but a lighter machine gives me much greater mental and physical comfort. So when I want to have fun and I don't want to worry about whether I can pick the bike if I go down, then I would also always choose a lighter bike. So 2 bikes for me mean less stress than one compromised bike. And yeah, the 890 is for long trips and riding with a pillion, and the 690 is my machine for pure carefree dual sport weekend joy. Another question comes from Slack 5093, who's asking, I would want the quick shifter for riding on the road, but would like to turn it off for off-road riding. So the good news is that with the new 690 Enduro R, it is possible. You can deactivate the quick shifter in the off-road mode and also in the rally mode if you choose to install it and prefer not to use it there. So this allows you to keep it enabled exclusively in the street mode for smooth dynamic riding. That gives you the full control and allows you to perfectly adapt to the motorcycle, the motorcycle to your specific conditions. All right, and there is a series of questions about the vibration compared to 501, but also to the previous generation of the 690 701. And I have to say that comparing the new 690 to the FE 501 is like night and day. The 690 is smooth as butter. You get no foot massage through the foot pegs and no noticeable vibrations on the handlebar. The only vibration I have noticed so far is a gentle pulsing on the seat when riding above 110 kilometers per hour. That is something I will verify further after the first service, when I will be able to ride a bit quicker. So compared to the previous generation of the 690, there are definitely fewer vibration from my point of view. For instance, so far, after 300 kilometers of mixed road and off-road riding, I see no reason to install the progressive handlebar damping system. So yes, it is definitely less vibey than my 2021 701 Enduro was, and the fastest I was on this new 690 was about 110, 120 kilometers per hour. Mirrors do not shake at all, so the visibility in the mirrors is great. Okay, another question from AA Carnivore, who's asking, did you notice the extra weight on the trails? So yes, compared to the FE 501, definitely, but it is still much lighter than the 890 we were just discussing a few minutes ago. So today I had my first longer off-road ride. I was still very gentle on the engine, and I also need some time to get used to the bike and again to the TKC 80 tires. They are definitely less grippy off-road compared to the Michelin Enduros I had on the FE 501. So that was just my first weekend ride on the 690 and I need to get accustomed to the bike. But yes, I can definitely feel the additional weight compared to the FE 501. Many of you were asking about the gearing, like the first two gears are too long and the sixth is too short. And I can agree with that. So first of all, they haven't changed the gearing ratios compared to the previous generation. When you go through the manuals of the new generation and the previous generation, the gearing ratios are exactly the same. And yes, when I am riding off-road, I am constantly finding myself switching between first and second gear when I go slow. I wish it would chug along in the second gear with a bit more willingness. So yes, it definitely likes to run faster rather than slower, and that is for sure. BCM Sokal is asking, still no fuel gauge? Nope. I guess this is related to the design of the fuel tank. Probably it wasn't easy to install the proper gauge there, but I really do not see it as a problem. So first of all, I always reset my trip meter when fueling, so I know exactly how much range I still have. I am also aware that after the yellow fuel lamp comes on, I still have about 4 liters of the fuel inside the tank, and that is good for about 60-70 kilometers or so. So really no drama here. And another question from AA Carnivore, who's asking why not another 701? And first of all, the 2026 Husky 701 Enduro and the new KTM 690 Enduro R are exactly the same bikes. The only differences are the colors of the frame. Husky is black and KTM is orange, and the color of the plastics. Everything else is exactly the same. Even the parts that previously distinguished the Husky from the KTM are now identical. For example, the handlebar. It used to be the OEM KTM on the KTMs versus the Pro Taper used on the Huskies. Now the price is also exactly the same, whereas the Huskies used to be slightly more expensive in the previous generation. So for example, here in Poland, the 2026 KTM 690 was available to purchase in early October. The Husky will probably be produced at the same factory in Austria a little bit later, so Husky dealers told me that the new 701s should be available sometime in November. So I decided to buy the KTM this time because it is the same bike and I just didn't want to wait to ride it. A great question from Blade Runner, asking me why I choose this platform again. I used to have the 701 that was greatly customized to my needs, and now I'm entering the platform again, maybe different colors, and was I tempted just by the TFT? So thank you for the question, Blade Runner, and as I explained in my previous video, getting the new 690 was not my primary plan. I initially wanted to buy a used one or trade my 501 for a good condition used 690, 701 or even a Gas 700. But I am happy with the way things turned out, and no, the TFT screen was not the main reason to go for the new bike. But I have to admit, it's pretty awesome. A comment from MaxFlight777, well done for dodging the Suzuki. Yeah, I still think it is great Suzuki brought it back to Europe, but you know, they could have done really much better job, especially for that price tag. Alright, and that is it for today. First of all, thank you for all of your comments. It is a great pleasure for me to read your questions and comments. If you would have any more of them, you know where to type them. Again, thank you for watching and see you next time. Cheers!